Hey everyone, today we're going to be talking about 5 things not to do with your First Strike T15. And this video is definitely aimed towards like new T15 owners and, less experienced paintballers. So if you've had one of these for years, chances are you know all of this already and this is not going to be news to you. But if you did just pick up a T15 or you're thinking about doing it, definitely pay attention, because I think I'm going to save you some hassle by just letting you know this stuff. And I got a couple tips for when you're actually out there playing with it and a couple tips for when you're storing it after the fact. And the first one I'm going to talk about is when you're connecting your air source. If you've got air in the tank, don't connect the air source until you've actually cocked the marker when the bolt is in the back position, because if the bolt is forward, it's going to be holding the valve open, and as soon as you screw the tank in, you're going to lose a bunch of air. To give you an idea of what I mean, the bolt is forward. That's a lot of air. You're definitely going to want to top up your tank if you do that. And I wanted to bring this one up because I see it all the time in forums and stuff like that. I get phone calls about this and emails about this all the time, where people just get their T15, they throw their air tank in there, and they think it's totally doinked. They think it's like got this massive leak, but no, it's totally fine. Do not panic. Just cock it first. Again, to show you an idea, it's cocked. No hiss. She's good to go. The next one I'm going to point out is about your mag specifically, and that would be, don't put your mag in the actual marker until the game is starting, until you're basically ready to use it. I will say that if you're using first strikes in the mag, that doesn't matter at all. You could leave a mag with first strikes in the marker all day and, no problems at all. But if you're using round ball, basically, as soon as that mag goes in the marker, all of those balls are under tension at that point. The follower is engaged, it's pushing on all of them, and if you leave it in there for like half an hour to however long, you could be dimpling your paint. This is obviously going to be more of an ordeal if you have like softer shelled paint or just lower quality paint. If you've got like good quality paint with a nice hard shell, you can leave it in there longer without having to worry about dimpling, but you generally want to avoid it. You don't want to have the mag in there for too long if you're not actually using it. So when you're loading up, when you're getting ready for a game, maybe just leave your mag in like a pouch or something, and then as soon as the game is ready to start, then throw it in there. That way you're not running the risk of dimpling your balls, which is going to lead to, like a loss of accuracy. It could be leading to an increase in chopping, and nobody wants those things, right? Again, doesn't matter if you're shooting first strikes. The first strikes can sit there under tension all day, but with round balls, it definitely does. When it comes to storing this marker, there are definitely some things you can do wrong, so I'm going to tell you about them. And the first one would be, when you're storing it, don't leave the bolt cocked. Like, don't leave it in the back position, because basically if your gun is cocked and it's just sitting there, the drive spring is just slowly losing strength over time. And if you leave it there long enough, you will totally ruin the drive spring, and it's absolutely going to cause issues for you. The next thing would be, again, relating to the mags. Don't leave the mags wound. Essentially, like anything that has a spring, if you're leaving it in storage while it's like compressed, you're going to be ruining that spring. So at the end of the day, when you're done, unwind those mags, take the paint out of them, make sure that it's not, still wound up, because if you do leave them wound and then the next time you're going to try and use it, you may have a lot less spring tension than when you started, and that could definitely cause issues with like feeding, chopping, all that stuff. The third and final thing that you should worry about with storage is, don't store it with the barrel in. And that sounds kind of weird, I'm sure, but the reason for that is essentially the detents are in the barrel themselves, and if the bolt is forward, then the bolt is going to be flattening those detents. Essentially, they should be sitting like this. We'll actually show you like a close-up of like what the detents will look like, but they should be curving into the barrel. But with the bolt forward, it's going to be pressing them flat against the sides of the barrel. And if you leave it like that long enough, when you actually put your barrel in, your detents are essentially not going to be doing anything. They're going to be so flat that like they're not keeping a ball in the chamber. When you put a mag in, you're going to get multiple balls in your barrel. If you shoot like that, you will very, very quickly run into a lot of problems, because you're going to have like balls hitting balls inside the barrel. Nobody wants that. But if you take your barrel out for storage, you don't have to worry about that. The detents are still nice and curvy. If you're watching this video and realize that like, oh crap, I've been leaving my marker or my barrel in the marker with the bolt forward and I'm totally ruining my detents, don't worry, it doesn't actually like ruin them. Almost all of the time you can just bend them back into place. So if you just kind of like reach into the chamber and just bend them back into the middle, it should fix it. Very rarely do you have to actually replace the detents. If you do have to replace the detents, chances are that you've been leaving that barrel and the marker in storage for a really, really long time. But yeah, those are my like main tips, I would say. Those are the things that I just see coming up all the time, like online, in emails and phone calls. It's just, those are like the main pitfalls that I see new T15 owners falling into. So hopefully you won't fall into the same pitfalls, and hopefully it'll just keep your marker happier, working better, giving you less issues, and just generally, you know, meaning that you're spending less time like replacing things or fixing things, and you're spending more time just playing the game. But what do you guys think? Do you have any other like suggestions you would add to this list? Like, what else should you definitely not do with a T15, or, you know, any marker? Like, if you got suggestions for stuff like that, throw them in the comments below, and thanks for watching.